The number one station for news and updates. I'm a presenter, Abdurrahman Yusuf, and tonight these are the stories that are making our headlines. Djibouti's Gule lauds appointment of special envoy for Somaliland affairs. Motor attack on presidential palace. Benadir district commissioner engages with the local notorious Iyal Wero gang. Costa Rica deports Al-Shabaab's leader's son. Ismail Omar Gule, the president of Djibouti, has praised the appointment of Abdikarim Hussein Guled as a special envoy for Somaliland affairs. Sunday saw the arrival of Guled in Djibouti, where he will meet President Guled to discuss his efforts to serve as a mediator between the leaders of Somalia and Somaliland. Here is a full story.
Ismail Omar Gule, the president of Djibouti, has praised the appointment of Abdikarim Hussein Guled as a special envoy for Somaliland affairs. Sunday saw the arrival of Guled in Djibouti, where he will meet with President Gule to discuss his efforts to serve as a mediator between the leaders of Somalia and Somaliland. Sources claim that political actors from Somaliland and leaders of the Somali nation will attend the ensuing round of negotiations in Djibouti. The special envoy for Somaliland affairs, Abdikarim Hussein Guled, had a meeting with the president of the Republic of Djibouti, His Excellency Ismail Omar Gule. The meeting was focused on the importance of dialogue between Somalia and Somaliland and the role of the Djibouti government. Somaliland, a region in northern Somalia, had declared to have seceded from Somalia in 1990 after the fall of the government led by the late Mohammed Siad Barre. The region, which succeeded to restore peace, has held parliamentary and presidential elections, but the region failed to gain international recognition. The talks between Somalia and Somaliland began in 2012 when the London Conference on Somalia, held at Lancaster House in February, resulted in a communique. In 2014, the federal government of Somalia and the self-declared Republic of Somaliland signed an accord following three-day talks moderated by the Turkish Foreign Ministry.
A motor attack on the presidential palace of Somalia on Sunday evening shook the Somali capital Mogadishu, claiming lives of two security guards working for the petroleum minister. The safety of the presidential palace has been questioned after 5 mortar shells were fired in the vicinity of the heavily fortified presidential palace, which houses both ministers and members of the bicameral parliament. A motor attack on the presidential palace of Somalia on Sunday evening shook the Somali capital Mogadishu, claiming lives of 2 security guards working for the petroleum minister. The safety of the presidential palace has been questioned after 5 mortar shells were fired in the vicinity of the heavily fortified presidential palace, which houses both ministers and members of the bicameral parliament. According to unnamed sources who spoke to Dalsan TV, the Minister of Petroleum and Mineral Resources residence was hit by one of the mortars, injuring several additional people who are reportedly receiving medical attention in nearby hospitals. Al-Shabaab fighters claimed responsibility for the attack via online. Besides targeting the presidential palace, it's not clear who the militants were after in the presidential palace. It's not immediately clear if the injured people are affiliated to the Minister of the Petroleum or civilians. This is the first Al-Shabaab attack in the Somali capital since the beginning of the holy month of Ramadan. It's the second time the militants are targeting the vicinity of the presidential palace. In November 2022, heavily armed Al-Shabaab fighters stormed the Villa Rose Hotel, which is close to the presidential palace, with explosives and guns, killing 4 people and injuring dozens more others in a siege that lasted more than 24 hours. The attack comes as the government has intensified in the fight against Al-Shabaab fighters, with the federal government launching the second phase of the Al-Shabaab crackdown this week. The Somali National Army, with the help of US Africa Command, the Africa Union Transition Mission in Somalia and local militia, managed to liberate several villages. Abshir Mahmoud, the District Commissioner of Karan District, has confirmed that he has direct conversations with some of the most notorious Iyal Wero gang members in response to concerns about the rise in crime committed by the youth.
The District Commissioner of Karan District, Abshir Mahmoud, has confirmed that he has held face-to-face talks with some of the members of the notorious Iyal Wero gang amid raising concern about increased crimes committed by the youth gangs. In an exclusive interview with Dalsan TV on Sunday evening, the District Commissioner said the meeting took place in Kopdoro Stadium and none of the members of the gang often involved in violent crimes, including robbery, extortion and murder, were arrested. He advised the members of the group to look for a job and those in possession of weapons to return to the government. In early 2021, an upsurge in cases, brazen robberies and muggings in the capital city of Mogadishu was witnessed. Residents of Mogadishu have been raising concerns about increased crimes committed by the youth gangs. Karan district and Madina, which consist of Darkenle and Wadajir districts, are one of the most affected areas, with Iyal Wero gang terrorizing the residents. The move by the district commissioner comes just days after the head of the state, Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, unveiled a new paramilitary unit tasked with maintaining security in the capital Mogadishu. The president inspected the new unit in Hilwene camp located between Mogadishu and the Middle Shabelle town of Balad. According to a statement from Villa Somalia, the new military police unit will ensure the safety of Mogadishu and fight against incursions by the militant group Al-Shabaab. The president called on the new forces to conduct themselves professionally and ethnically and adhere to human rights principles. Mogadishu and the larger Benadir have been under the security of various military and police units, including the National Intelligence and Security Agency, NISA.
Authorities in Costa Rica are said to have deported Lieutenant Warsame Farah, the senior leader of Al-Shabaab's eldest son. Farah was apprehended in Costa Rica, where he had been staying in a hotel under false pretense and with another person's Swedish passport. Authorities in Costa Rica are said to have deported Lieutenant Warsame Farah, son of a senior Al-Shabaab leader. Farah was apprehended in Costa Rica, where he has been staying in a hotel under false pretense with another person's Swedish passport. Farah was sent back to Guatemala by agents from the National Intelligence and Security Directorate, according to Costa Rican authorities. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, had warned in February 2023 about the possible presence of an Al-Shabaab member in Costa Rica, and Farah is listed by the FBI's Terrorist Screening Center. He remained in the nation for 1 month before departing for Nicaragua via an authorized border crossing. The DIS authorities revealed that Farah entered Costa Rica on January 4, 2023, using a Swedish passport with the name Lokman Abdiaziz. He stayed in the country for a month before leaving through an irregular border crossing to Nicaragua. Al-Shabaab aims to overthrow the Somali government and establish an Islamic State in the region. Al-Shabaab aims to overthrow the Somali government and establish an Islamic Sharia ruling in the region. The group has carried out numerous terrorist attacks in Somalia and Kenya, including kidnappings, assassinations and bombings. Farah's father is linked to facilitating an Al-Shabaab terrorist attack in Sweden in 2011. Farah will be sent to Somalia in accordance with international law, according to the DIS director Hans Sekira, who explained that Farah must be sent back to the nation where he entered legally. Farah's arrest and deportation serve as a reminder of the terrorism threats, pervasiveness and the necessity of international cooperation in its eradication. That's all we had prepared for you tonight from our desk here in Mogadishu. I would like to thank the Dalsan Media fraternity for making this news bulletin a success. Have yourself a lovely